Formula 1 returns to Albert Park for the first round of the F1 2016 season, the Australian Grand Prix, and Red Bull look to carry their pace advantage over from pre-season testing over to this first race weekend. There are encouraging signs also from McLaren and Honda, as both drivers were in the top 10 in all 3 practice sessions, and Rio Haryanto managing P5 in practice 3. However, Josh Chero on the other hand looked to be struggling to even get into the top 10 in his Williams, only posting lap times just barely within the top 12, and looks to be set for a battle with the Toro Rossos. Taking a look at the first qualifying grid of the 2016 season, and it'd be a Red Bull front row lockout as expected, with Jean-Eric Vergne taking his first ever pole position, 1/10 clear of his teammate Daniel Kvyat. Lewis Hamilton lines up an impressive 3rd for Ferrari, with Sebastian Buemi the lead Williams in 4th. Fernando Alonso makes his first top 10 appearance since 2014, he starts alongside defending world champion Sebastian Vettel. Valtteri Bottas could only manage P7 on the grid, with Rio Haryanto the lead McLaren in 8th. Stoffel Vandoorne backs up his teammates' good qualifying to line up in P9, with Romain Grosjean in 10th on Haas's debut race. Taking a look at the rest of the grid, the Toro Rossos would just miss out on a place in Q3, lining up 11th and 12th, with Josh Chero all the way down in 13th. Very disappointing qualifying session for him, just ahead of his B team Haas of Alex Rossi. Both Force Indies just scraped through into Q2 with Esteban Ocon ahead of Sergio Perez. Hulkenberg beats Daniel Ricciardo on his first time as teammates. Mark Ericsson gets the better of both of the Manners to line up in 19th, with Verlaine in 20th, Will Stevens in 21st, and Adrian Sutil rounds off the grid for Sauber. Hey guys, Taria here, welcome back to UniONE. This time round 1 for season 1, first round of the season here at the Australian Grand Prix. If you did miss pre-season, definitely go and check that out before watching this race. It says everything you need to know about this season, all the drivers, all the car performances. And the main thing is, wondering, Fernando Alonso back in a competitive car this season. He said this is stated his best chance of winning his 3rd World Championship. Let's see what he can do starting from P5 in a very wet Australian Grand Prix. As for us, down in P13 is not what we wanted. So lining up just behind Max Verstappen and in front of Alex Rossi in P13. We've got a lot of work to do, and in the rain that's just going to make it even harder for us. Still, we had the best qualifying last season and we finished P4 I believe. So anything's possible, and this race is twice as long. There's even more time to do anything now. Fade to black, coming out to the 5 red lights for the start of the 2016 season. Lights out and away we go. We get a completely shocking start there. We've got all the arrows behind us now going side by side with Alex Rossi coming down to turn 1, so the Red Bulls got away cleanly. Now Rossi's going to try and dive up the inside now of both of the McLarens. Going to turn 1, it's a bit of a traffic jam. Everyone's slowing to complete snail's pace. Through turn 1 now we're going side by side with Alex Rossi in the Haas. It's like one of the Ferraris there. I'm actually clear one of the Red Bulls maybe. We're going side by side with Alex Rossi, just managed to clear him coming down into turn 3. And that's like one of the McLarens going for a dive up the inside there of Romain Grosjean. So great move there from the McLaren. Which McLaren's there? It looks like it's Rio Haryanto on his debut race, getting up the inside of Romain Grosjean. We're getting up the side there of one of the Toro Rossos, who's probably Max Verstappen. And move up into P12, so we're into the points at least. There's actually signs we've got past, so Verstappen, it's a Toro Rosso in front of us. So now we try and make a move on him pretty soon as well. That's to not let the leaders and the Red Bulls get so far in front, because the wet conditions kind of nullify the grid, the pace performances, so maybe we can try and keep with Red Bulls, but we need to try and clear these slower cars if there's any chance of us getting anywhere near the top cars. I see, not pulling away too much. Actually pulled quite a gap, 2 signs already. Now try and get right in the slipstream now of Max Verstappen, coming behind their competition again. Just to stay behind time machine and going a bit wide there. So dirty air plus rain isn't really a good combination when you're in a Williams. Although the team have worked on the downforce package, it's still not exactly ideal. Now going up the inside of Max Verstappen now, coming up into the third sector, right behind Stoffel Vandoorne, as we were for much of last season when we came out of the pits, but this time it's actually 4th position, so Vandoorne's legitimately ahead of me. Vandoorne going down from P9 to P11 after start, so not the best start for him. Now looking back up front, with the 2 Red Bulls doing battle now, we've got Daniel Kvyat gaining in the slipstream on the back of his teammate. Jean-Eric Vergne coming into turn 1, he's going to try and make a move. Not quite, you see much of a gap after 1 lap. The 2 Red Bulls have already pulled over the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton in 3rd. So that's not far off a second, I'd say, in only one lap. Now can Kvyat try and make a move coming now into turn 3 on his teammate Jean-Eric Verne? No, not quite close enough. He's still behind his teammate for the time being. See, the Red Bulls really do look to have the pace over everyone this season. Now, if something happens, you should be looking for some easy 1-2. So we've got me, Williams, Mercedes and Ferrari. I've got a lot of catching up to do. Talking of catching up, we've still got quite a way to catch. Stoffel Vandoorne in front of us now as we're on lap 2. So we go purple though. Well, everyone goes purple because it's lap 2, so everyone's going faster than lap 1. Now cutting onto the same place in lap 3, we now cut the gap down to by about half onto the back now of Stoffel Vandoorne in the McLaren. Of course, Vandoorne under pressure to perform this season, given the McLaren weren't too impressed with his results last season. Of course, well, when you've got Alonso as your teammate, it's pretty hard to impress. But now you've got Harry Anto. Harry Anto's been outperforming so far. Now looking back up front, you've got Daniel Kvyat now trying to go around the outside. Jean-Eric Verne coming through the high-speed chicane. Kvyat's going to try and hold it around the outside, but Verne just squeezes him out. Kvyat loses loads of momentum there. Now can I give Lewis Hamilton a chance to try and get past? Or at least catch up to the back of Daniel Kvyat. Now coming up to the third sector, can Hamilton try and move? No, he's not quite close enough. This is exactly what we need. The Red Bulls to keep squabbling, losing time, and allow the Ferraris, the Williams and Mercedes to catch up if there's any chance of us beating them. Now Lewis Hamilton is right on the back now of Daniel Kvyat. Can try and make a move down the straight. We know the Ferrari's still down on power, but then again so is the Red Bull with the Mercedes, with the Renault power unit. So it should be pretty even between these two. But you see, coming down the straight, Daniel Kvyat is already pulling away from Lewis Hamilton. He's trying to set now off his teammate Jean-Eric Verne. Now coming down into turn 1, Kvyat's already right back on the back of his teammate Jean-Eric Verne. He's already pulling away from Lewis Hamilton, showing the dominance that Red Bull look to have at this early stage of the season, and how much catching up everyone else has to do. But Kvyat's right up behind his teammate Jean-Eric Verne, but it's not quite close enough yet to make a move. Now coming on to lap 5, we're still behind Stoffel Vandoorne, but now we do go purple through sector 1, so we're finally starting to find our pace, find our feet. But now we've pulled quite a gap to Max Verstappen and everyone else behind, so now we should try and worry about trying to take Vandoorne, who now looks like he's being held up slightly by Romain Grosjean in the Haas. Of course the Haas is the Williams B team, so maybe Grosjean trying to slow him down for us to overtake us. Seeming he's in the B team, now trying to go a great run there on John. I'm really going to cut us off there. Try to get past Vandoorne up the inside, but he just closed the door right on the inside. You have to stay behind Vandoorne for a bit longer now. There's a bit behind. The green flag's behind. It's like something that's happened behind, maybe incident. The yellow flags are out. But no in front of us now, trying to get him back now of Stoffel Vandoorne in the McLaren. Yes, like Sainz now moves up to safety car. Safety car after only 5 laps of this season. The Sainz moves up into P12. So something happened between him and Verstappen. Taking a look at a replay of what happened, it looks like he may have involved the two Toro Rossos actually. Then we've got Sainz gaining on the back of Max Verstappen. So what actually happens here, you've got Sainz gaining on the back, now he pulls to the outside. Verstappen, there's contact, Verstappen's just spinning across the track. Verstappen pirouetting across the track, looking to get collected there by Alex Rossi, but how did that happen? Okay, Verstappen finally, thankfully managed to get going, but watch out now, looking at it from Verstappen's perspective, so he's going on the outside, tries to squeeze Sainz and just bounces off his rear wheels. Wheel-to-wheel contact, then Verstappen's just now spinning through the gravel trap. Let's have one final look now from Sainz's perspective at that. So he gets the move around his outside. Verstappen tries to squeeze him and then just rebounds off of his car. And then just spins because in the rain there's no grip. So one bit of contact sends you spinning, as Verstappen has proved there. Now coming onto the end of lap 8, the safety car is only coming in now. So 3 laps of safety car that the stewards thought was necessary there. Don't really see why we needed 3 laps, seeming Verstappen got out of the gravel trap pretty quickly, but oh well, this means we've got less time now to try and overtake Vandoorne, less laps in the race to try and do it, but hopefully we try and get past Vandoorne pretty quickly now as we come back to green flag racing. Now we try and make the move on Vandoorne, but so he's actually got a pretty good start, but who hasn't got a good start is Carlos Sainz behind us. Sainz has dropped way back, now he's going side by side with Alex Rossi trying to overtake him now, coming down into turn 1, can Alex Rossi make the move on the Toro Rosso? He looks to make the move easily into turn 1. Now can Sainz try and fight back against Alex Rossi? Of course, Haas with the BMW power unit, it's going to be difficult for something of the Renault power unit to overtake it, but now Sainz is just dropping backwards now. We've got Esteban Ocon in the Force India trying to look up his inside. We know how slow the Force India is at the start of the season, so in the rain you think they'd be pretty slow, so even if they have to take the straight line speed, low drag approach for their car design. Sainz just manages to fend off Esteban Ocon for the time being. Now coming on to lap 9, midway through lap 9 we're still right up behind Stoffel Vandoorne, still haven't managed to find a way past him yet. You see there on the mini-map the amount of time that everyone's losing behind Sainz, so Sainz must have some kind of issue to be going that slowly, because yeah, maybe got it wrong in the restart, but then to be going that slowly afterwards, so Sainz must have some sort of car issue with that Renault power unit. Well, it could have been something from the contact, although the contact with Verstappen did look fairly light, so I don't think it was from that, but who knows. You know, trying to gain back on stuff for Van Dorn. Now, yellow flags behind us once again, so once again, everyone's just crashing behind us again. First race this season, everyone's getting their elbows out. It seems that everyone's getting their elbows out a bit too far. Now, we're still in P11. Thankfully, no safety car or VSC called for that, whatever the yellow flag was for behind. But it maybe could have done me one to try and get back up behind Van Dorn again, because Van Dorn's still stuck behind Romain Grosjean for the time being. And we should try and make a move on Van Dorn pretty quickly. But now, talking making moves, we've got Johnny Van trying to make a move back past his teammate Daniel Kvyat for the lead of the Grand Prix. I don't know quite when Kvyat took the lead of the Grand Prix, but at some point he managed to. And now Van moves right around the outside of Kvyat to move back into the lead of the Grand Prix. Can Kvyat try and fight back? No, he can't. Kvyat's being overtaken by Lewis Hamilton now for P2. What is going on with Kvyat's cars? Kvyat got an issue as well. Kvyat and Sainz having issues at probably near enough exactly the same time with the Renault power unit. I mean, we're in the third season now of these V6 hybrids, so reliability you wouldn't think would be such a problem. It seems for Renault, it seems to be now as Kvyat's just dropping back down the field. Now we're trying to make the move on Van Dorn still, so hopefully Kvyat going slower can try and hold up this bunch of cars, so then we can try and get on the back of Stoffel Van Dorn as we go green, our fastest first sector, go green through sector 1. Getting right on the back of Stoffel Van Dorn, coming up now into the second sector to try and make a move on the inside. No, we think better of it. Don't want to send one up the inside this early in the race, only on lap 10 of 29, another 19 laps yet to go. Not even a half race distance. We get a bit squirmy on the exit there. Downforce still not great on this Williams, although it is much improved from what we had last season. We're getting very close to Stoffel Van Dorn's rear diffuser there through the high speed chicane. Have to cut the corner slightly, otherwise we weren't going to get around it. So we lose time there, so it didn't work out. We didn't get an advantage from that. And we're still in P11 behind Stoffel Van Dorn. I mean, this just sums up all of last season. Being stuck behind Van Dorn for that one lap he didn't come in. And I was still behind him now for past 9 laps. I need to try and make this move pretty quickly if to get anywhere up the field and try and challenge our teammate. Maybe get somewhere close to the podium now. Kvyat's having car issues, so there's a second place up for grabs as it seems. Now trying to get him right in the back now. Stoffel Van Dorn coming down the straight, getting his slipstream because the Honda power unit is still down on power in a straight line. Now gaining right Stoffel Van Dorn, now coming to turn 1 in the slipstream, going down to turn 1, trying to outbrace Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn braces. We got the inside line. Try and get it now up the inside of Stoffel Van Dorn, and now we move up into P10, and now we can try and chase down Romain Grosjean, who's having a great race for Haas. Of course, this is their debut race in Formula 1. That's why their car's pretty decent, obviously helped by the BMW power unit. But I've seen Rossi's quite a bit down the order, just outside of the points I think he is, or in P12. And cutting a bit further on, we've got Fernando Alonso now looking up the inside of Daniel Kvyat, now coming around turn 1, and makes that move easily on Kvyat. Now Kvyat's now going to come under pressure from the other Mercedes. Actually, that's Bottas again now. Alonso's trying to get up the inside now of Daniel Kvyat. So Alonso's trying to get moved now up the inside. Is Kvyat going to be taken by both of the Mercedes in the space of one corner in straight? And indeed he is. And now he's got one of the Ferraris behind him now. And then it's Ferrari Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel a bit down the order as well. Now trying to gain right behind the solution now on Daniel Kvyat. Now coming up into the second sector, Kvyat runs out wide. Kvyat retiring, he's letting us through anyway. Now Kvyat comes back on track now, just in front of the Haas of Sauber. And there's a McLaren spinning in the background. What's happened to that McLaren? It's completely spinning off in the background. Yellow flags are out. We've got past Kvyat and got past Grosjean as well. Now looking at a replay of what happened to the McLaren of Van Dorn. So he's following Grosjean behind Kvyat, and then he just drives straight into the side of Romain Grosjean, loses his front wing, and that's completely ruined Van Dorn's race. Of course, Van Dorn under pressure to perform, and that's exactly the opposite of what he needs to be doing, crashing into Grosjean and losing his front wing. Now he's going to have to do half a lap now without a front wing. Now coming on to lap 12, we're right behind Rio Haryanto in the other McLaren. Hopefully it doesn't take us 9 laps to try and get past this one, as it did on the other one of Van Dorn. See, Haryanto right up behind one of the Ferraris, so McLaren's pace does look genuine this season, and they can actually challenge and bring it to the front runners. But it looks like they're just lacking a bit of engine power overall from that Honda power unit. Maybe if they had a bit more oomph they could take it, try and challenge Red Bull. Now coming down into turn 1 and gaining on the back of Rio Haryanto, just not gaining enough though because he's got the slipstream off the back of Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, and the Ferrari is also down in power, so we are the fastest of these 3 cars in a straight line. but they've got track position in the rain. You don't want to make making dives with the inside. But do get pretty close to Haryanto's gearbox coming up into turn 3. But through here, there's just nowhere we can try and make an overtake. I would just have to stick behind Van Dorn for the time being. Cutting now onto the end of lap 13. We're still behind Haryanto. We've got Grosjean behind us in P9. Still, so Grosjean still doing great. Still 4 Haas. So now trying to gain on the slipstream now on the back of Rui Haryanto. Now coming down the straight, coming down now into turn 1. With the yellow flags up in front. What's happening there? Who's that? Someone's out of the race. Valtteri Bottas is out of the race. Bottas is out of the race. Pulled up the side of the track. Looks like a Mercedes engine failure. Got a VSC called. But Mercedes still haven't fixed their engine problems, and Bottas, after only 14 laps, well 13, coming off like 14, of this race, his engine's gone after only 13 laps of this season. And that's definitely not how Mercedes needed to start this season. Pretty much carrying on from where they left off last season, with the engine failure for Rosberg. And again, right behind Haryanto, completely brake checks us there at the end of the VSC. And now we've lost about half a second there on the back of the Indonesian, so bit dirty tactics there from me, Haryanto, brake checking us right at the end of the VSC. As you can see, we were still positive on the delta time, so it's not like we were going too fast. Just like Haryanto decided to brake check us there, so we'd lose more time behind him. It doesn't like as well, because now in the space of 5 seconds, we've already caught right back up to the back of that McLaren, going for a bit of a drift there through the high-speed chicane. Now trying to gain back on the back now of Rui Haryanto and try and take, well, he's currently P6 now with Bottas' engine failure and retirement from the race. Yeah, Bottas still yet to win a race in Mercedes. It's definitely not coming this race. And if his engines keep going for Mercedes, it's not going to come at all at this rate. Now, it's not far off the end of the pit stop, and now Haryanto actually comes into the pits now for his first stop, along with Lewis Hamilton in the sole remaining Mercedes and one of the Ferraris of Sebastian Vettel as well. I imagine these are all going on to another set of the intermediate tyres. And indeed they are. Alonso going on to another set of intermediates. I think that Sebastian Vettel's gone on to another set of intermediates as well. And then the same for Rui Haryanto when he comes into his pit box, which is quite a long way down the garage, given McLaren's dismal season last season. Now, whereabouts are they going to come out? Is there going to be anyone near them coming out of the pits? So obviously, they'll try and get the undercut on us. Now, here comes one of the Force Indians down to turn 1. Managed to get ahead there of Sebastian Vettel, so that's not what Ferrari needed. Vettel needs to try and clear this Force India as quickly as he can, if it's not to get completely ruined his strategy by being stuck behind the Force India. Now coming down into turn 3, he's going to try and make a move up the inside of the Force India. Not quite sure which Force India that is, but Vettel now to the inside of the Force India makes an easy move up past the Force India, and hasn't lost too much time there, so his undercut should still work on us. Now cutting on into the next lap, we're now coming in for our stop now onto another set of intermediate tyres. We decided to stay out one more lap because the track is drying, but it just wasn't drying enough that one lap, so we have to stack behind Sebastian Buemi. I knew we'd have to do that, but the tyres just wouldn't last one more lap. We took on one more lap as it was, and Buemi didn't pit, so we have to double stack behind Buemi on that lap. So we've lost quite a bit of time there to the cars in front. Now where are we going to come out? We're currently in P5, made that P6 now. Got Haryanto in front of us now, going down to P7, have we? Can't see because the clouds are covering the numbers. Now we're down in P7. Back up behind Haryanto. But we are in front, though, of Alex Rossi in the Haas. So the Haas is doing pretty well now in P8. So it seems Grosjean and Rossi just completely swap positions there. Now we're down in P7. We've lost quite a bit of time there to Rui Haryanto, having to stack behind our teammate. Talking Grosjean gets back up now into P8, so it looks like Haas is doing 89 in the first race. Now cutting a bit further on the cut to the back of Rui Haryanto. Looks like we're going to try and go around the outside of Rui Haryanto. Coming into the high-speed chicane, he can make it around the hole, sweep right around the outside of the Indonesian. Now we move up into P6, and now we can try and chase down Sebastian Vettel and Alonso and Buemi in front. Great move there around the outside of Haryanto, showing the Toro Rossos how it's done. And they don't go spinning off into the gravel, thankfully Haryanto or me didn't. So now we're in P6, 10 laps of this race left to go. Now we try and chase down. They've got a podium position there right in front of us. So the podium position is for the taking after Kvyat's woeful car issues. Looking up front now, we've got Alonso gaining right in the slipstream now on the back of Sebastian Buemi. Can he try and make the move coming down to turn 1? Is he close enough to Buemi? Not quite, and he's tucking behind the slipstream of Sebastian Buemi for a bit longer. But now he's going to have a second bite of slipstream. We know how powerful the slipstream seems to be this season already. He's in the slipstream, seems to make an easy overtake. Now Alonso gaining right in the slipstream of Sebastian Buemi to try and move to the inside. And he thinks better of it and just sticks behind our teammate for a bit longer. But I can see, the more they battle, the more this is going to allow me and Vettel to keep up with them and try and even make an overtake, because now we've caught right onto the back now of Sebastian Vettel, and if we keep battling, This is going to allow Haryanto to catch round on the back of this train as well. Here they're getting all square me over the curves, of course on the white line, it's absolutely no grip whatsoever. Let's actually go purple there to the first sector split. Showing we're really finding our pace now in this later half of the race. 9 laps left to go. Can we try and make a move on Sebastian Vettel sometime close? Not quite close enough there to make a move, but Alonso's right up behind our teammate now. Sebastian Buemi is going to be gaining this issue now, trying to make a move to the inside. Sebastian Vettel do we just haven't got the run. Now Alonso's trying to make a move now to the inside. What team following behind Buemi, doesn't quite make a move, not quite close enough. Thinks about making a move, but that's the thing better of it. As once again, he's not quite close enough to the back of Buemi. That's getting a great run in the slipstream once again on our teammate's going to pull to the outside now of Sebastian Buemi. Now coming to third sector, Buemi is just going to keep his nose up the inside, diving back up the inside. Great driving there from Sebastian Buemi. He's going to try and hold it up the inside of Fernando Alonso. He forces Alonso out wide and he makes the move back up into P3. Now Alonso's got into P4. P4, Vettel in P5, we're in P6. Now that's allowed Haryanto to catch right onto the back of us now in P7. As this is a fight now for a podium position, a 5-way fight for the podium. Now is Alonso once again gaining in the slipstream on the back of Buemi. Is he gaining enough this time? Yes he is, he's gaining. Now pulling into turn 1 and trying to make the move up the inside of Sebastian Buemi, forces Buemi out wide. And now Alonso moves up into P3 and now can try and chase down second place, which I think is still Lewis Hamilton. And now we try and get a run on the back of Sebastian Vettel. We're just not quite close enough to the defending world champion to try and make a move at this stage. Means Lewis Hamilton in second, really outperforming what that Ferrari is capable of, if indeed he is in second. Seeing the Ferrari may have brought some upgrades from pre-season to this first race, found some pace somewhere, but it seems like overall they're still lacking quite a bit on overall pace. And now coming up to the second sector, just has to stay behind for a bit longer. Sebastian Vettel now cutting a bit further on. We're still behind Sebastian Vettel now, but it looks like Sebastian Buemi is right on the back of Fernando Alonso. Alonso's not managed to get away from this group of cars. Now Buemi's going to pull right to the outside now. As I said, there's contact between Alonso. There's made contact again, they've taken each other off of the track. Alonso, the cars have got glued together, now they're causing a complete traffic jam now behind Rio Haryanto. Buemi keeps a place though, in front of Fernando Alonso. Now Alonso has to worry about defending from Rio Haryanto in the McLaren Honda. Now Haryanto's going to pull it to the inside now of Fernando Alonso. Coming up into the final sector, can Rio Haryanto, in his debut race, make a move up the inside of two-time world champion Fernando Alonso? Of course, McLaren, the team that Alonso left last season, because he didn't think they'd be championship winning, and now they've overtaken him. Haryanto now moves ahead of two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. Now cutting onto lap 22, no, DRS is finally enabled. Now trying to get DRS now on the back of Sebastian Vettel. So now we've got DRS enabled. It shouldn't be too long until we pit in for dry tyres, because once you get DRS enabled, that pretty much means it's dry enough and safe enough to come out on the dry tyres. There's still a bit of spray being kicked up, so it's pretty much in the crossover point from wet to dries. But it shouldn't be too long until we manage to make the move on Sebastian Vettel, or too long even until we pit onto the dry tyres. And that's still behind Sebastian Vettel. We see we're losing a lot of time here behind Sebastian Vettel now. He's really starting to hold us up as we go purple once again through the first sector. So it looks like it still is time for dry tyres, because if we're going purple then we're still gaining time. If we're going red and we're not losing any time normally, then that's when you know it's time to pit. So it looks like Inters are still the tyre of choice for just a bit longer in this race. I'm going to try and make a move now on Sebastian Vettel, gaining in the slipstream now on the back of Sebastian Vettel. Now try and make a move to the outside. Let me try and make a move around the outside of Sebastian Vettel like we did on Rio Haryanto. Try and make a move around the outside, we run out wide. Keep us on the side. We have to cut the corner there to keep it round in front of Sebastian Vettel, but now I'm going to have to let Vettel back through, as we did cut the corner to gain that position, so we're going to have to let Sebastian Vettel back through into P3 and have to think of another place to try and overtake the 5-time world champion. Now we're right up behind his gearbox once again. I see now we have DRS. So DRS, we know how fast this Williams is, so a Ferrari that's down on power versus a Williams with DRS. This should be a pretty easy move for ourselves. Now trying to gain in the slipstream now on the back of Sebastian Vettel, gaining in the slipstream and with DRS. We're making an easy move, gaining loads on the back of Sebastian Vettel. We're making a move up now into P3, but I think Lewis Hamilton is a bit too far in front to try and chase down. With 5 laps of this race left to go. It's not over to cross the finish line. Now we've got DRS now to try and pull away from Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel's keeping with us in the slipstream. But we've got DRS and we just managed to pull a small gap there to Sebastian Vettel. Now we can try and pull away in P3 and try and get anywhere close to the back. Well, Lewis Hamilton, Vettel did have a try have a look there, back up the inside. Of course, he's not giving up yet, seeing what Lewis Hamilton in P2. So the Ferraris do have some pace if it's all down to the drivers, they're not down to the car. The drivers really have to overperform the cars if they want to get the pace out of them. Now cutting a bit further on, looking at one of the manners of Pascal Wehrlein on his debut race. Now Wehrlein's into the pit, so is it time for dry tyres? We have to judge you by what these backmarker cars go on. I'm saying backmarker cars, including the Force Indias, really doesn't sound right this season, but Force Indias really are just going backwards ever since 2014, and now they have come out on dry tyres, Wehrlein there on super softs, so it looks like it is time for the dry tyres. Now cutting onto the end of the lap we're on, we're now coming into the pits now for a set of dry tyres, going a set of super softs now, take us for the final 4 laps of this race. I think that Sebastian Vettel would do the same as well. Now Williams getting a tyres change there onto a set of super softs. Looks to be being a pretty poor stop there for the Ferraris, and now look at Daniel Kvyat in as well. So Kvyat slightly catching back up to us, so maybe Renault of whatever's fixed the issue with his car. But Vettel there on soft tyres. Why is Vettel on soft tyres? And the same for Kvyat as well. Why have Red Bull and Ferrari put their drivers on soft tyres to do 4 laps of this race? See, Alonso there's come out on super soft tyres, so it's not like we even use the super softs in this race. Could be on the inters from the start. So why have those teams put their drivers on soft tyres to do 3 laps of this race? We're talking of tyres, we've got Alex Rossi in front of us who stayed out on the intermediates. Rossi, what are you doing? Staying out on the intermediates, there's no way. Maybe if it was 1 lap of the race left to go, yes, I could understand that. But Haas, in the debut race, still haven't got the strategies quite right, it seems, because they're an American team, they don't race in the rain. NASCAR, IndyCar, they don't race in the rain, so maybe they're not quite used to what to do yet. But surely they're going to have to pit Rossi at the end of this lap for a set of dry tyres. And now Wehrlein sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on his F1 debut. That's not something everyone does. And now Ericsson sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well, so finding some pace in the Sauber. Now Hulkenberg for Renault sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. So everyone is a complete happy hour for fastest laps. And we're right up behind Alex Rossi, and now Van Dorn sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but Van Dorn's way behind now. He's only crossing the start finish line now. We're getting right to the solution now of Alex Rossi, trying to go around his outside. Trying to hold it now around the outside, coming into the braking zone, and sweep right around the outside. Rossi straight lines into Alonso! Rossi's just straight lined into Fernando Alonso. That's costing them loads of time. That's Vettel now onto the back of the Spaniard. Of course, Rossi in the B team, because Haas is the Williams B team, so that seems quite coincidental that Rossi just straight lined into Fernando Alonso, seeming Alonso is behind his position. Don't really know what Rossi was thinking there, but I definitely didn't tell him to straight line into Alonso. I want a clean fight, but that was all Rossi's decision there, to straight line into Alonso. Maybe trying to impress the team by playing the team game, but that's not how you play the team game, Alex Rossi. You don't take out the other cars. You can hold them up, but you don't straight line into them like that. Now going to lap 27, we've got Rio Haryanto, who stayed out on the intermediates, and McLaren definitely knows strategy, so I think McLaren are trying to get the podium position here, because Haryanto is currently in P3, trying to go for a podium. Now we're going purple. Haryanto is about 5 seconds in front of us, but we've still got 2 laps yet to go, so I don't think Haryanto is going to keep this podium position for much longer. Now cutting midway to lap 27, we're right up behind Rio Haryanto. And the McLaren trying to move now to the inside of the McLaren, now trying to get up to P3. Squeeze right over to the inside, but now we are up into P3. And I don't think there's enough time yet to chase down Lewis Hamilton for P2. Rio Haryanto, I've got a feeling he's not going to finish in 4th even, because it's look at the minimap. We've got Alonso, Vettel right behind Rio Haryanto now, and how slowly Haryanto's going on that set of intermediates. Now cutting onto the end of the final lap. Jean-Eric Vergne is going to round the final corner. He's going to cross the finish line to take his first ever victory in Formula 1 and take Red Bull's first victory of the 2016 season. And I bet Red Bull and Christian Horner are very happy with the decision to keep on Jean-Eric Vergne for another season. As for us though, we're going to come across the line to finish in a pretty decent P3, I'd say. Starting from P13. There's still a lot more to come from Williams this season. Can easily take a race victory. Jean-Eric Vergne would take victory, but only 6 seconds clear from Lewis Hamilton in the end, so maybe Red Bull won't have it all their own way this season. We'd come in 3rd, 10 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel getting up to 4th, Alonso down in 5th, so Sebastian Vettel on soft tyres managed to overtake Fernando Alonso on super soft, so maybe Mercedes toned his engine down just to make sure he'd last to the end of the race. Then Kvyat will only come home in P7 after his early race issues, with Sebastian Buemi down in 7th. Romain Grosjean takes points for Haas on their debut race in Formula 1, Mario Haryanto disappointingly drops down to 9th after McLaren completely ruined his race, while leaving him out on the intermediates. Alex Rossi backs up a double points finish for Haas on their debut race, and Nico Hülkenberg from Renault comes home in 11th, and Sergio Perez gained points for Force India in P12, rounding off the point scorers. Taking a quick look at the drivers' table, because after the first race the points will be exactly the same as the race results. So Van's in the lead on 20 points, Hamilton second on 15, Weir in third on 12 points, Vettel in fourth on 10, Fernando Alonso in 5th, Kvyat 6th, Buemi in 7th, Grosjean in 8th, Haryanto 9th, Alex Rossi in 10th, Hülkenberg in 11th, and Perez in 12th. But moving on to the constructors table, this is where things get interesting. Red Bull only have a 2-point lead with a Ferrari here in second, with Williams in third, further 7 points behind. Mercedes are in 4th, only on 8 points, joint with Haas. So Haas having a great race there to get 8 points joint with Mercedes. McLaren are in 6th on 4 points, with Renault in 7th on 2, and Force India in 8th on 1, rounding off the point scorers, with Toro Rosso, Manor and Sauber all failing to score in the opening round of the season. So that's been the Australian Grand Prix. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below your thoughts on the race and who you thought your driver of the day was from this race. So thanks for watching, I'll see you all next time.